Alright, so it's been about 3 months since my last high-def NES update. Totally my fault. There should have been at least a couple videos between then and now. It wasn't too long, maybe just days after I did that video, that the EverDrive guy, which I still don't know how to say his name, it's K-R-I-K-Z-Z. I've been saying Kriz, but just because it sounds better than Crix or whatever the hell how you say it, he released OS 13. And that actually seemed to fix everybody that had an analog NT, but and an EverDrive, but it didn't fix it for regular NES installs. I tried it and it didn't work, so that didn't seem like much of a video, you know. Like, oh yay, we got OS 13. Well, I still get the scrambled menu, so that's the video? No. So I didn't do a video for that, and it was probably a month after that happened. So it's been about 2 months ago now, somewhere in there. Kevtris gave us version 2 of the firmware for the high-def NES. And that has actually fixed 99+% of the problems that everybody was having. I think the only game that we know that has any problems now is Blaster Master, and that's probably just the intro screen. Never actually did hear whether Blaster Master gameplay was affected. Now, this is only original cart. On the Power Pack, it's fine. So, just another weird issue. Kevin's probably not going to look into it. He spent a lot of time doing version 2 firmware and is pretty burnt out on it. So, that led into creating a repro cart, which I'll show a little bit of that. And that got sent out to maybe 10 people, and it's actually still out there. It hasn't even met everybody yet, you know. And there was only 10 out of maybe 40 or 50 people. At that point, I'd only done 40 or 50 consoles, and only 40 or 50, you know, those were the only version 1 firmware high-def NES kits out there. And you know, I even tried to do the shortest distance. You know, I think the first one went to Brooklyn or something like that, and I tried to hit people and make a circle around the states. And it's just now gotten to LA, and then it's got to go to Texas. There's a couple people in Texas, and then it should be done. So if you're one of those people, I tried to email you, but I probably only replied to your PayPal email. And I know some people have 2 different emails and they don't look at their PayPal email. Kind of my fault, whatever. But if you want it, let me know. You know, it's a version 2 update firmware. If you have a Power Pack or EverDrive, you can use those. Now that actually did shoot a bunch of video of how to do the version 2 firmware update. It's really simple, but I was having a ton of problems because I was the first one to do it. And we didn't know this, but on the Power Pack, you have to have a non-save state mapper file for MMC3, and of course I had the save state and it wouldn't work at all, and oh, I was furious. And somehow or other on the EverDrive, I screwed up my EverDrive trying to do the update because I was trying to force it. You know, I didn't know how it worked at all, and I wasn't waiting for the screen to pop up. You have to load the ROM if you're using an EverDrive or a Power Pack. And you know, they'll say loading ROM, and then it'll actually be a black screen for 3 to 5 seconds, and then it'll get a screen of text that says waiting for input. And you know, you hit select left and you start doing the update. Well, I didn't know that I was waiting for that screen, and I was trying to hurry up and force the update to happen. And somehow or other, I bricked my EverDrive. Now, Kevin seems to think that putting on the new OS and stuff like that is what bricked it, because the EverDrive guy, Kriz or whatever his name is, wrote the OS or whatever to brick really old EverDrives or clones. He was trying to brick clones, basically. And Kevin thinks that mine got bricked because of that, which I'm pretty sure mine was working with OS 12 and 13, so I don't think that's what happened. I think it's something that I did, so I really can't say. But one other guy said that he bricked his, and I think it was the Retro RGB guy, matter of fact. And he got the cart, updated version 2 firmware, and then his EverDrive was working again, but mine never did work again. And I've since had several people say that the update works with their EverDrive, no problems. So whatever, something really bad happened to me. So that was like, like 40 or 50 minutes worth of video that didn't really apply to anybody. So I didn't put that video out either. I just told you what happened, and it's not really relevant to anybody, because ever since version 2 firmware came out, every Nintendo that I bought and sell has version 2, so there's no worries about updating. And it's not likely that we'll get a version 3 or whatever anytime soon, because it seems to be 99.9% good to go. So since all that happened, I've really just been plugging away trying to sell some front loaders, because we still have about 30, maybe 40 kits left, and I don't want to put them in top loaders because it has the recessed connector, and that's been fixed. So we have version 2 firmware, and we have physically redesigned mainboard, and I actually had them flip the CPU interposer. And I did that because in the top loader, they were actually touching each other, and sometimes they would just be misaligned just enough because of the sockets and headers that they could actually come out of socket. So now the CPU interposer should be offset enough to where they're not touching, and it shouldn't be a problem. And the AV Famicom was even worse. They actually overlapped to the point where you actually had to use a taller header on just the CPU interposer to put it on top of the PPU interposer, and I really didn't like that. Kevin resisted me for a while, thinking it was going to be a big hassle to redesign that CPU interposer, and then, I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago I was up there and he was looking at it, and he figured out a really, really easy way to do it, and boom, it's done. So we are actually, this is the big news of the video, we're actually really ready to order the next probably 200 kits really soon. Probably won't be for sale for another couple months, because it actually takes 4 to 6 weeks to get them after we order them, and we want to spend a lot of time testing them before we start selling them. So it could be a while after we get them that we actually get them up on the site for sale, so still have to be a little patient on that. Also in that time, I want to try to get a list of modders up on my site that are willing to do installs, and I'd put up a thread on, I think, 2, maybe 3 different websites: NESDev, Nintendo Age, I think maybe one other one, Shmups, asking for people, it was kind of like, send in a resume, make me believe that you're a good modder kind of thing. And I've got, I think I've got a guy in Brooklyn, I've got Voltar in Kentucky, and I've got Leon K in Canada, and then I've got another guy in North Dakota that might be one. Still looking for, like Australia, Japan, Europe areas, maybe UK, Germany, some of the Scandinavian countries. So, and I've, so far that's all the modders I've got interested in doing the kit. So I'm still looking for more of those. If you know some people, if you know some good modders, leave a comment. Go look at the thread, or have them go look at the thread, or something like that. And like I said, within maybe hopefully 2 to 3 months, we'll actually start selling these and start doing installations and stuff too. So hope that's enough update for everybody for now.